Andrew Storer, CEO of AMRC. Thank you so much for joining us at the Safer Cleaner Planet series. We're at the Energise Landscape Conference in London today. Could you just give us a few minutes on your role in AMRC, what its mandate is, and really what your top priorities are now we've got a new government, and perhaps some of the frustrations that you would like to overcome so that we can really get on with our clean reindustrialisation and boosting jobs and the supply chain in this country.
Yeah, certainly. Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me. I run the Nuclear Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre. There is an Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre that was set up for aerospace with Boeing and now works across other industries. So we're very specific in nuclear. We cover nuclear decommissioning, fusion, fission, new build, existing fission, defence. So we go right across the nuclear sector. Our mission is to help UK companies win. Very simple. We do that in two ways. The first way is advanced manufacturing innovation. So trying to do things faster, smarter, dare I say cheaper, taking cost out, taking people out. And we've proven that in various ways. The difficulty we have with that is applying it to a technology. So we're applying most of that in decommissioning and defence, where there's a long-term programme. So there's manufacturing innovation, there's also supply chain development, where we go out to other companies. We have a small team of people, but we've got about 4,000 SMEs on our programme. And we've got about 800 on the programme with us, so the only limitation is people, how many people we can afford. And we've got fit for nuclear, fit for hydrogen, fit for carbon capture, and fit for offshore renewables. All those programmes together, there's 190 companies that's been granted fit for status. Those companies over the last 5 years have told us that they've won £3.8 billion of contracts, which in government language equates to 12,500 jobs created or sustained. So we're very proud of our programmes, both manufacturing innovation and supply chain development. So we work mainly across the UK with many universities. We're part of the University of Sheffield at the moment. We work also in Australia with Australian universities for AUKUS, the defence programme, in Canada with Canadian National Labs, and in the US with the US Department of Energy, and in France with GFEN. There is a very similar organisation.
So can I ask you about the Levelling Up agenda? How does that play into your role, and how you hope that this next government are going to be able to kind of meet some of those expectations and hopes?
Yeah, so we're working with all the local authorities across the UK, and we see jobs, we see opportunities for regions that aren't currently engaged in nuclear. So we're trying to find organisations, regions and people that we can get excited by the nuclear programme. In terms of the government, we really want to shine a light on the opportunity that exists with innovation. So we talk about the skills challenge, but actually if we were to innovate differently and look differently across the whole sector, we think there's a massive opportunity to improve the effectiveness of how we work in the sector, both from how many people we need, because we think we can reduce that dramatically by innovating and working differently, but also the efficiency of how we work. So we've got 3,000 approved vendor lists, roughly, in the UK today in nuclear, which means if you're an SME and you want to get in, you've got to get on one of the lower tiers approved vendor lists, and it goes up in a pyramid. Why not have a UK standard? So you get one approved vendor list. If you want to work in Britain, this is how you qualify and work in Britain.
So could you explain how that fits with large nuclear and the small modular reactors and then the advanced modular reactors, in terms of how you organise that?
Yeah, so it would be no different. We've got a large programme with Hinkley Point. We could have a small modular reactor programme, hopefully soon. So the same process, the same qualification could be applied against large, small, defence, fusion. So if you work in fusion, you can also automatically qualify to work in decommissioning. It's nuclear. It doesn't really matter what part of the sector you're working in, apart from some specifics. So we want to try and take out some of the difficulties for companies to qualify and work in the sector.
So correct me if I'm wrong, are you just dealing with the skills side, or are you also dealing with harmonisation of kit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
I know, I don't know if you know Romina Velshi, but one of her key things when she was president of the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission was this idea of standardisation and harmonisation. So just to wrap up, if you could talk about how Britain can play a leading role with our global regulatory partners to do that standardisation and harmonisation process. How do you believe that can happen?
Yeah, so we work with skills, but also with kit, as you put it. You know, the products, manufacturing the products. So if you look at how Canada produces a product, whether it's a valve, a pump, or a pipe, look at how Britain produces a valve, pump, or pipe. Britain needs to work in Canada. Canada needs to work in Britain and France, and we all need to kind of use each other's supply chains to deliver products. So we need to try and harmonise the way we work, not make it so difficult for organisations to have to qualify in a country against a different code and standard. So we've got an ASME code, we've got a French RCCM code. But if you look at the two, they're very similar. But it's a strict code that a company has to qualify for to get in. My point is, if we can strip that qualification right back and look at the similarities and make it easier for the supply chain to get in, then I think we'll save a lot of time and money for companies to qualify and then win work. That's our mission, to win work in nuclear.
Andrew, thank you so much for coming, and I'd love to be able to talk to you again in the future about where you've got to in all your goals. So thank you.
Love to. Thank you very much.